something. It is a literal instruction. It's an obligation. And it can make all the difference. Remember back in Chelsea, one good New Yorker placed a phone call, made a world of difference. So we ask people to be vigilant. It'll be very easy to find a police officer on Sunday. If anything at all seems out of the ordinary, let the officer know. Let the professionals make sense of it. Don't hold back. If you have an instinct something may be wrong, share that information. So Sunday will be an important day for this city. It's a chance for us to show the whole world once again who we are and to show that New York City will always be New York City. We won't change. A few words in Spanish. Gracias al NYPD hemos tenido una reducción récord del crimen este año. El ataque del martes no cambia eso. Y no va a cambiar quiénes somos. Con la cooperación de todos los neoyorquinos vamos a tener un maratón seguro y muy especial este domingo. With that, I honor to turn to our Chief of Crime Control Strategies, Dermot Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll briefly go over October's crime statistics. For the month of October, index crime in New York City was down a little over 2%, 2.2%. When you look at the 7 categories of index crime in New York City, 3 of them showed an increase, so I'll go through them briefly. Murder, we recorded 26 murder incidents in October. That's versus 22, an 18% increase. And tragically, that includes the 8 people on Halloween on the west side. Rape, 147 incidents versus 126. That's an increase of 21 incidents, and that's a 16.7% increase. I'll just briefly elaborate on some of the rape statistics, and I will point out that year-to-date we remain down 3.4%. What we saw in rape in the month of October is statistically what we see throughout the year, when you see the types and occurrences of the rapes that were recorded. About 13% of the rapes recorded in October took place more than a year ago. And that is something that we point to as a positive. And the reason for that is very simple. We're trying to encourage recording of rape complaints because an unrecorded rape complaint is a rape complaint that we can't intersect and we can't prevent future victims. So 13%, and that's consistent, 11, 12, 13% when you go back a couple of years, occurring outside of the month. When you look at the rapes that occur this year, 9% are stranger rapes, and that's consistent with October. 33% are domestic rapes, which I don't believe many people realize. When you look at the rapes that occurred this month, we have a number of rapes husband on wife. We have a number of relatives, step-uncles, uncles, tragically raping individuals less than 10 years of age. 1/3 of our rapes involve family members. And that's something that we're definitely trying to interrupt with some of the resources that we put into our domestic violence units, as well as Bob's Boyce's special victims. And then about 55% involve known. This is where you find the category of boyfriend, girlfriend, which is the vast majority of those. So overall in October, 21 additional rapes. And year-to-date, we remain down 3.4%. The robberies were down nearly 10% in October. Burglaries were down 0.6%. Grand larcenies were down about 2%. And grand larceny autos, stolen vehicles, up 1%, an increase of, at this point in time, 8 stolen vehicles more. When you look at these shootings in New York City, we finished October at 73 shooting incidents. That's down from 84, and that continues the trend that we've seen all year, down 13%. We are down now, when you look at year-to-date, approximately 4,700 index crimes, down in every major category of crime in New York City, and we're down in every borough of New York City year-to-date in crime. So when you look at the traditional crime side, we continue the trend of what we've seen all year. When you look at the murders year-to-date, we are now, as of midnight, down 53 murders. That's an 18% reduction. And when you look at the shooting incidents year-to-date, as of midnight last night, we're down 195 shooting incidents. It's a 22% reduction. On the traditional crime side, we still have our sights set on 3 pretty impressive goals. When you look at potentially falling under 300 homicides at the end of the year. Last year, we shattered the shooting incident record in New York City and came in under 1,000 at 997. We're going to finish roughly around 800 at this pace if trending continues for the remainder of the last 7 weeks. And when you look at the overall index crime, right now, we're on pace to finish under 100,000 crimes, and that'll be the first time that's happened in New York City CompStat history, if you will. So that's it for the crime update.
All right, thanks, Dermot. Carlos Gomez is going to talk about our preparations for the marathon. That's it. Carlos.
Sure. Good afternoon. As we reported earlier this week, Sunday's marathon will be a very well-policed event with many layers of security. And many of those layers have been enhanced and increased for the public's safety. On early Sunday morning, we will activate our Joint Operations Center here in Police Headquarters. It will be staffed by representatives from over 20 local, state, and federal agencies that will monitor and coordinate the event as it progresses throughout the day. And again, as I stated earlier, on Wednesday, we've added more sand trucks and more blocker vehicles, the most that we have ever used in any detail in the city. And we don't just place them anywhere. We go out, we conduct, actually the Counterterrorism Division goes out, they conduct surveys and assessment, and they determine which location